Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man, Mark Black. You know what time it is, fam. Let me turn this off real quick. You know what time it is. Welcome to Sucker Free. Shit, look at me. My head's all a jumble. Hump Day. It is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day to all of you. Welcome to the broadcast, fam. First of all, I want to apologize right from the get-go. It's going to take me a bit to put all my thoughts together because recent events have caused me to kind of shift what this broadcast was going to be about, right? And I have no problem, guys. You know this, right? I have no problem, guys, with letting you know exactly where I stand, right? I don't bite my tongue. I don't kiss nobody's ass. What I got to say is what I got to say. We the angry black sheep. We already outcast to somebody, right? So it don't matter, fam, what we say. We can actually be truthful. We can actually be thorough. We can actually look at circumstances, situations, people. There are no sacred cows here unless we're putting them on the grill as steak. You know what I'm saying? So, but fam, I've been doing a lot of thinking over the last few days. And so before I get into it, let me do the needful, fam. First of all, if you are new here, welcome. I don't care how you got here or who you came here through. You are at home. Okay? This is the home for you. If you love your people, right? If you love justice, if you love learning, if you love talking shit, if you've been a black sheep forever in a month of Sundays and didn't think you had a place to be, you found it. Welcome, welcome. To all of you who are here, as you all know, you know the rules. Pop that name in the chat. Let me shout you out. Let me show you some love. Starting from the top of the building here. And but definitely, you know what I'm saying? Void Ninja, welcome to the broadcast, fam. I see you. My brother in Logic and Mentality, Zulu Black, fam. Thank you, as always, for your love and support. I see you. Cool Unc, fam. I see you. Welcome to the broadcast. Pat Asar, welcome to the broadcast. Afro Troops in the house. KTADOS is in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. Darker Visions, fam. You know I love you. Welcome to the broadcast. Beloved sister Christine, welcome to the broadcast. Brother Noel, welcome to the broadcast. Let's see here. The esteemed brother Double C's in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. Sister Adrian, welcome, family. I see you. Miss Kawami, mwah, love you, sister. Welcome to the broadcast. Brother John, welcome to the broadcast. Brother Charles, welcome to the broadcast. Agent Smith, of course, welcome to the broadcast. Hood Heroes, new name, welcome to the broadcast. Brother Chris from Sacktown, fam, I see you. Welcome to the broadcast. Still learning, welcome to the broadcast. Fam, I could go on and on. The cool man, Shalom, Brother Paul, I see you. Black Man 903, late but not late. Welcome to the broadcast. Reggie from Boston, peace, fam. So, fam, let's get started. Today's broadcast is titled, That Nigga Must Go, right? Now, before I get into it, I need to tell you up front, I can't monetize this one. So if you think what I have to say, fam, is worthy, I'm going to need you to support via the super chat or click one of the links here. I'm not going to make no money from YouTube on this one because I'm going to use verbiage and terms that will definitely not be amenable to ads and things like that. But I did this for a specific reason because I want to be able to talk plainly to you. All right. So make sure if you find this worthy that you take advantage of the super chat. All of the people that have donated to me, those in the list there at the bottom, know that I respond to each and every last one, and even $1 is appreciated. So I appreciate it. The title of this broadcast is That Nigga Gots to Go. Right? Miss Denny's in the house. I see you. Sister August, Shalom, welcome to the broadcast. I see you. In the world today, welcome. I see you. And originally, fam, what generated the title for this broadcast was the ponderings that I've done over the last few days, thinking about the situation with the so-called ADOS versus FBA thing, right? Listen. None of you can pretend you don't know what the heck is going on, right? You can't pretend that you don't know that there was a back and forth between Antonio and Tariq Nasheed, at which point Sister Yvette got involved, and there's a whole bunch of other things going on. Thank you, Arjizzle. I appreciate the love and support right from the get-go. Miss Denny's in the house. I didn't know if I saw you, sis. It said hi, but welcome to the broadcast and happy hump day. Hope you're not struggling too hard there at the job. I did a broadcast on Sucker Free Saturday where I talked about partisans, right? And that was a conversation that I think we needed to have, right? I wasn't taking a side. I wasn't sitting here trying to mediate between Negroes that are determined to go to war with each other, and I'm still not going to, right? But what I'm going to talk about today was inspired by a trip I took back through time. I mean, in my head, figuratively. Let me share with you this trip I took. For those of you who haven't seen it, do a search on YouTube for the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom, right? Goodbye Uncle Tom was done in 1971, and those of you who have heard me describe the movie before knows that it is a breakdown of what slavery was like for our ancestors, right? From the moments that they were on the ships and to the processing here in the new world and all of the old stuff, right? And so I took a trip back, right, in my mind, back to the times of the ancestors. And I realized something that we never talk about when we discuss lineage. There were actually two lineages that were born here in the hells of the United States of America, in the killing fields of the plantations and the breeding plantations and in the homes of these rich white enslavers. There were two lineages created. Two. One, some of us have decided to term the American descendants of slavery. I think it's a damn fine term, if you ask me. I think it's descriptive. I think it's apropos. But there was a lineage created when our ancestors were brought here that we still share today. I want to talk about the creation of the lineage of the nigga. You see, fam, one of the things that you'll notice when you watch that movie, Goodbye Uncle Tom. By the way, shout out to Sister Toolbox, welcome. Shout out to Tab Liquor, welcome. And shout out to Trey, welcome. Sundog fam, I see you. When our ancestors were brought here, no, scratch that. The creation of the niggas started even before our ancestors got on the boats. When they were captured in the hinterlands of Africa and brought to the slave trading ports, the process of creating the lineage known as the niggas started there. Our ancestors could not be enslaved until they were made into niggas. So that process had to start early. It started with first, as all these things do, physical abuse and torture, brutality, arbitrary, random pain being delivered upon the bodies of our ancestors, whippings, coffles, being forced to walk miles and miles and miles with no rest, no food, no water, being beaten, raped along the way, both males and females, right? The brutality started right from the beginning. Many cases, our ancestors already had to face brutality from the slave catchers, right? The ones who were harvesting slaves, slaughtering their entire villages. So their grandmothers and grandfathers, their children being cut down right before them or gunned down by muskets. That was the beginning of the process to create the lineage known as the nigga. But it didn't stop there, fam. They chained our ancestors and marched them through the gates of no return onto the ships, at which point they headed across the Middle Passage. In the holds of these ships, they lay in their own wastes and filth, eating the rats on the ship from hunger, completely having their humanity stripped from them. Sometimes having to lie next to dead people or sick people. And then when they were brought to the United States, they were processed like cattle. Like, you got all these liberals who talk about the horrors of factory farming with more heat and more passion than they talk about the horrors of the processing of free Africans into niggas. But the process was much the same. They were classified. Some were workers. Some were domestics. Some were breeders. Some weren't worth anything and were euthanized. They were examined like animals, showing off their teeth, checking their parts. But one thing to note, fam, is this. It was other black folk who were instrumental in the creation of the nigga lineage. On the African side, it was other Africans, other tribes, looked just like most of our ancestors in many cases, who captured them and held them and processed them for sale for the whites. When we were brought here, we were marched along beaches, marched into warehouses, usually with other black folk leading the way with pipe and fife, right? Playing the fiddle and the fife. Whenever one of us needed to be tuned up, you didn't necessarily have no white person doing it. They was making other black people who look just like you do it. That was instrumental in the creation of the Negro, the nigga. Why? Why was that instrumental, fam? Because one of the things that our ancestors' enslavement had to show them is that hope, change, relief will never come from somebody who looks like you. You don't have a hope in hell because I can make him do whatever I want to you. That was instrumental in the creation of the nigga. Instrumental. What is the nigga, fam? Don't act brand new with your man Mark Black. We all know who the nigga is. I, as your brother and one who loves you, am going to take up the mantle of doctor today. Do you know why I'm taking up the mantle of doctor? Well, the answer is simple. I'm the doctor because I too share the symptoms. I know your illness frontwards and backwards because I share the symptom. Whenever a harm was done to one of us on the plantation, the nigga was the one who said, "Shit, I'm glad Mass ain't mad at me." he should have picked that cotton. He should have cut down that cane. Now look at him. The nigga was the one who, when you were lashed, laughed at your cries. The nigga was the one that went up to the house and pleaded for you to be sold, not him. The nigga was responsible for the betrayal of every uprising, insurgency, outbreak of freedom you can possibly imagine. Every single one was foiled by a nigga. The nigga was the one who big upped people and personalities over ideas, who made the massa larger than life rather than hold freedom like a beacon in their breasts. Our beloved ancestress Harriet Tubman said, and I quote, "I freed 1,000 slaves, and I would have freed thousands more had they only understood they were slaves." The nigga was the one who said, "What you talking about, freedom? You know these crackers will kill you." The nigga was the one who, when you ran off and got caught, didn't say, "Damn, fam, I'm sorry they caught you." The nigga was the one who said, "See, I told you." Come on, fam. Stop me if I'm lying to you. And if you think, beloved, that we left the nigga behind on the plantation, Dr. Black is here to disabuse you of that notion. We dragged the nigga kicking and screaming right along with us through emancipation, through Jim Crow, all the way up to 2019. You know who he is, fam. You know who she is. The nigga's the one that saw you get a few grains more of cornmeal in your ration and looked at you like you was a piece of shit. The nigga was the one that was willing to do whatever it took to get ahead. Damn what happens to you. The nigga was the one who volunteered information to massa. You didn't have to press him for it. You didn't have to get in her face. The nigga was the one who ran to massa with the true. Massa, I just want you to understand I ain't with them, but I think they's planning something. The nigga was the one who sat in your councils, smiling in your face, knowing that they planned to stab you in the back. What does the nigga look like today, fam? Do you know a few niggas? I do. The nigga is the one who, when funk pop off, run to it, not away from it. The nigga is the one that will believe a comfortable lie over an uncomfortable truth. The nigga is the one that you can count on to try to find the easiest non-effort making way towards all the things that are the best in life. The nigga today is the one who cuts corners and encourages you to do the same. The nigga today, fam, is long on dreams and short on activity. Stop me if I'm lying to you. Tell me if I'm wrong. There were two lineages born here in the United States of America under the auspices of slavery. We have the descendants of those who went through the crucible. The American descendants of slavery. But we also have the nigga. The nigga is the one today that will believe any story you tell him, just so long as you don't present no evidence. The nigga is the one who would have you think that the whole world is dead set against just them. They never talk about how things are happening for you. The nigga is not concerned about you, fam. See, as the nigga, Mark Black, your brother, the nigga, I could be living my best life. Fuck this political advocacy ADOS shit. Right? This stuff hard. Studying about how a law or bill becomes a law and the arcane, how workings of the Supreme Court and the appeal system and talking about this shit's crazy. Like I said, I can make the diagnosis because I recognize the symptoms. Mark Black, the nigga, has laughed at stupid memes and puppets demeaning my brothers and sisters. Mark Black, the nigga, has weighed in where silence might have been much more beneficial. Sometimes, family, discretion is the better part of valor. But Mark Black, the nigga, don't know nothing about discretion. Your nigga Mark Black is quick to look for opportunities to minimize my effort and maximize my income. Like I said, I recognize the symptoms. In the last few days, we have watched as a man told us that we were advocating for Republicans, or is it Democrats? It switches up depending on which one he ever feels like talking about. We've watched as this person pretended that they didn't understand what the fuck ADOS was all about. I've been hit repeatedly on social media in my DMs. Shout out to those people that felt like I needed to know this information. about Byron Allen's ties to the Sinclair group. True shit, right? I've been told that two people I esteem highly. One is just looking to lead us on some Black Lives Matter shit because she's gay. And the other one is kissing the ass of Democrats when I just spent the last 9-10 months at their behest, blasting every Democratic candidate I could find with one question and one question only. Are you for the remediation, the restoration, and the repair of the American descendants of slaves, including but not limited to cash payments? You know, that part. You see, fam, this broadcast was actually going to be about you and me. Because for all that everyone wants to throw shade at Yvette and Tone and Tariq, truth be told, the shade needs to be thrown at you and me. Us niggas. What if Tariq held a roasting and no one showed up? Right? What if Yvette and Tone made a verbal gaffe because of their different understanding about their knowledge of the Democrats? And instead of us putting them on complete blast about it, we just simply went and voted and did the strategy the way we understood it. Right? What if? You see, fam, the division ain't between Tariq Nasheed, Yvette Carnell, and Antonio Moore. The division is where it's always been, in the war between your two lineages, in the war between the ADOS butterfly looking to burst out like a ray of sunshine and the nigga we all been acculturated to being. You want to look for the root cause of the conflict? You don't have to look any further than a mirror. How many of you have said, oh, Tariq is all right, man, he's entertaining. I just love the way he go in. You're fucking part of the problem. How many of you have hit Yvette and Tone up with topic ideas that you didn't put not a lick of research in on? You ain't studied word to first. You haven't even typed it into a fucking Google search, but you want them to speak on it. Ooh, am I hitting a little too close to home? Tariq talking about code, being on code. Fam, you don't even have to like this mother. No, take that back. You don't even have to hate Tariq to know that code is the last motherfucking thing this nigga need to be talking about. There is nothing he does that's on code. I wouldn't think that Tariq would know what the fuck code was if it bit him in the ass. You all know it and I know it. Sure, the nigga's funny. We all love the Rolly Bird. We love the little Cabbage Patch of Michi X because the nigga likes drama. The nigga likes laughing at the struggle and the suffering and the pain of other black people. So, yeah, we love Tariq. When he's shitting all over Tommy Sotomayor, calling him crispy and all of that. We love that shit. Because the nigga loves drama. The nigga loves rancor. Nothing pleases the nigga more than seeing another nigga hurting. We defend fucked up ass behaviors like roasting each other and playing the goddamn dozens. We've been doing it to each other ever since we was kids. We laugh at other black people when we make them cry. And for those of us who are trying to give birth to our better nature, for those of us who are trying to give birth to an honorable lineage descended from some of the baddest people America has had the pleasure of hosting as citizens, even we are susceptible to janky nigga shit. We take advantage, fam, of the people who do the work. I didn't agree with Tone and Yvette about Democratic down ballot voting. And I even came out publicly and said that I did not agree with the strat. But what you have never heard me do was disrespect or shit on them. We, as tribes people, are going to have disagreements. And if you have your own mind, thank you so much, Thomas B. Let me read what you said here. He said that, yeah, he accused Jamion Fowler of being the motherfucking... I can't. Like I said, fam, there's enough blame for all this nigga shit to go around. Everybody's got some blame in on this bullshit. All of us has got some blame in on this shit. You know what? I did some study and I looked at the code, right? I don't own the book by Neely Fuller, right? But I did some study on it, right? I went to a couple of websites. And so I wanted to get an idea. What was the code, right? Because Dr. Neely Fuller was kind of the first one to really kind of go in on the need for us to kind of codify how we interact with each other. And Dr. Neely Fuller, in his book, The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, mentioned 10 stops. And I'm going to try to find those for you. I had them up. Give me just a second here. I probably still have it up. Give me just a moment. Here we are. And I'm going to post this right here so you can read them along with me. The 10 basic stops. Now, what the 10 basic stops are, fam, is shit that's supposed to be easy, right? Because it doesn't require you to necessarily do anything. These are negations. These are things you are supposed to refrain from doing when interacting with other victims of racism/white supremacy. So, can we, for just a moment here, go through Dr. Neely Fuller's 10 basic stops and see just how on code this nigga is? Number 1, stop snitching. And it even defines snitching here: to willfully and deliberately volunteer information about a person or persons with the specific intention of gaining direct or indirect personal favors and or praise from racists. Tariq ain't never doxed nobody. Tariq ain't never put nobody's information out there. Remember, Tariq is supposed to be the man, the master of receipts, right? He quick to say who's co-opted and who's working for this people, working for that people. Tariq's whole MO is about snitching, about putting people's business out in the motherfucking street for everybody and their mama to see. I think we can safely scratch off number one. Number two, stop name calling. To name call is to call a person by any name other than the name, title, etc. that person chooses to be called and or chooses to call him or herself. Right? Because Dr. Neely Fuller realized that when you're dealing with niggas, you got to talk basic. Tariq called motherfuckers crispy, coons, bootlicks, sambos, bed winches, bed bucks. I've lost count of all the damn different pejoratives and names that he's called people. I don't give a fuck if you're his partisan. I don't give a fuck if you're a partisan of Yvette and Tone. See, because I'm the angry black sheep. I don't have to be a partisan to no one. I've got something about me that all of you won't be able to stand. There's something about me that you just ain't gonna fly with. So that makes me free to kind of, I don't know, tell the truth about stuff. And does it fall under VGQ? No, it does not fall under VGQ. VGQ means victim guaranteed qualification, meaning that when you run across another victim of racism, white supremacy, you can expect that they're going to do some ill shit. Tariq is supposed to know this shit. He's supposed to be codified. So no, this doesn't fall under VGQ. VGQ is when you run across somebody who is not aware of the code. VGQ covers ignorance. It's basically grace for our brothers and sisters that are ignorant to the code. But Tariq is supposed to be the master of the code. You niggas gotta be on code. You're supposed to be on code. You're supposed to be on code. Well, I would figure that if he's telling me I'm supposed to be on code, this motherfucker should probably know it. So no, this would not fall under VGQ. This falls under him willfully violating the so-called code. Now, again, you could argue that Neely Fuller's code is just a framework if you choose to accept it. And I could see that, right? This code isn't universal amongst us as black people. Like I said, I've never even owned the book, but I'm definitely familiar with Dr. Fuller's work, and I respect the man highly. These were things that were supposed to prevent us from having negative and deleterious interactions with each other. Because one thing that Dr. Fuller taught was that due to our acculturation to innate hostility towards each other's bodies, persons, and interests, that unless we were coming together for something constructive, we needed to minimize contact with each other. And the code was designed, the 10 basic stops were designed so that we would know how to interact with each other. We wouldn't have to guess. If we were doing these things, we would be on code. Okay, I apologize. I thought he was a doctor. I've heard him being referred to as a doctor. But you know what? He may as well be. He's a doctor of understanding a lot of shit I don't. I'm not hung up on titles. I call Yvette Dr. Yvette. She got an honorary doctorate. She's not a doctor, but it is what it is. Right? Let's continue, fam. Stop cursing. To curse people is to use profanity toward them in a manner that is likely to be thought of as insulting or demeaning. This often results in the promotion of hostility. Anybody want to see whether or not he matches this? Tariq curses at people all the time. Calls a bunch of names, curses at them. Stop gossiping. To gossip about a person is to say something about that person to someone other than that person that you would not be willing to say directly to that person at the same time and place with those other persons listening. Let me ask you a question, fam. Tariq's live right now. He accused the ADOS political efforts as basically being BLM 2.0. Do you think that Tariq would say that to Yvette and Antonio's face if they were sitting right there in his presence? I don't think so. See, it's real easy for niggas to be hardcore revolutionary when you're doing this behind the keyboard or when you're in front of one of these. But I've lived in environments where niggas have killed each other for 25 cents. Try using some of that rhetoric that you use online, Tariq, in some of these neighborhoods with people that you spend all day denigrating, and see what happens to you. This is not threatening him. So all the minions of Tariq can go back and say, this no-name nigga Mark Black is threatening you. No, I'm not. This is factual. He is not on code. We're clearly establishing it. I'm holding Tariq to the same standard that he's demanding we hold everyone else to. And so far, he has been weighed, measured, and found wanting. Number 5, stop being discourteous. To be discourteous is to say or do something that shows a lack of consideration for what a person is saying or doing or trying to do or say to promote knowledge or understanding of his or her thoughts, speech, or actions. All this discourtesy means is that if somebody's trying to share what they are about you, about themselves, about their experience, about what they're going through, that you allow them to do that in a positive fashion. If you can't do anything else, you just sit there and refrain. Like, just be quiet. Basic courtesy between us as tribes people should be a given. Can we say that we have seen Tariq practicing being courteous to people? Because he's quick to tell you, oh, see, I was being nice. Like, I called your mama a hoe, your daddy a dog, talked ill about your family, then put your information out there. But I was being nice. As if that's courtesy. You try and express yourself over on his channel right now. I dare you. Go over to his broadcast right now and say something that he perceives as being either not what he agrees with, or even worse, something that he might perceive as against his interest, and see how quickly you get blocked. One thing that I committed to, and shout out to King Credible for this, wherever you are. I used to block so-called trolls and detractors who would come to my channel. I had somebody I literally blocked 3 times on 3 separate videos. I finally put up another video, and King Credible, which was the YouTube name this person was using, did not rant at me or anything. They actually said to me, look, I have issues with what you're saying, but you have a chance to convince me if you will take it. But if you cannot handle my critiques, handle my dissension, how are you going to handle the critiques and dissension of our real enemies? Since then, I have not blocked a single person off my channel. I have people come into my chat that dissent all the time. I have people that post things I don't agree with all the time, but I engage each and every last one of them with courtesy, with respect. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what's on their mind. I don't know what they know. But I do know that I'm capable of having a dialogue with them. King Credible became one of my angry black sheep, don't you know? Number 6, stop stealing. To steal from any person for any reason is to promote injustice. To steal, even to survive, is to promote injustice. I think that's a bit harsh, but I hear you, right? To steal, even from one who has stolen from you, is to promote injustice. To steal, even from an enemy, is to promote injustice. To steal, even from a racist, is to promote injustice. Stealing causes a person to put a greater value on the thing stolen than on the value of justice. Also, once a person starts stealing, he or she develops a tendency to do so. Fam, this nigga Tariq stole a movement. Yeah, I said it. Thomas B beat me to it. But this whole FBA thing was nothing more than an attempt to steal ADOS. And for all of you who are partisans of Tariq, you have got to be fucking honest with yourself. Foundational Black Americans. Look, words have meaning, fam. They have meaning. Okay, so let's break down the term foundational Black Americans. Foundational. Foundational means to be basic, to be the base of, to be the primary part of. Well, now, if you're saying foundational, that begs a question. Foundational in relation to what? Could it be foundational to the enslavement of our ancestors? That sounds strangely like discussing slavery without saying slavery. And of course, Black American means someone who is the bearer of melanin, who is also a citizen of America. So tell me, why in the hell did we need foundational Black American? I like the term, don't get me wrong. But from what I'm seeing, foundational Black American is nothing more than an attempt to shy away from enslavement of our ancestors. If we're keeping it a full fucking buck, everybody, I've seen people use FBA because they sick of these damn slave movies. They don't want to acknowledge the reality of where our lineage comes from. That's all it is. And Tariq knew it when he created the fucking term. Oh, man. See, I'm going to call it foundational Black Americans because I know a lot of niggas ain't really with that slavery shit. You know, they don't want to hear all the time how bad our ancestors got it. Keep. The fuck out of here. Everybody knows what Tariq pulled. This nigga stole the momentum of an entire movement. He had Black people so damn dejected Monday morning that people were literally saying, I quit. Damn advocating for my lineage and my people. He stole the wind right the fuck out of a lot of people's sails. If that isn't theft, I don't know what is. If that isn't stealing, I don't know what is. We still have the epigenetic evidence of what our ancestors went through in our very DNA. But we can't talk about slavery. We can't acknowledge that our ancestors came from slavery. He did trademark FBA, but so did Antonio. I think it was Yvette that trademarked ADOS, the hashtag. Who cares? I'm not one of these people that sit here and say that Yvette and Tone shouldn't eat for what they've been doing. I don't have a problem with anybody profiting from their work. What I got a problem with is people profiting who ain't doing shit. Let me ask you something, all you FBA folk, right? Because you're still my tribes people, whether you acknowledge me or not, by the way. Just because you want to go off and do FBA for the culture, that don't mean we ain't tribes people. So as one tribes person to another, answer me this. What's y'all agenda? other than buzzwords, truthfully. Y'all say tangibles. Y'all say substantive tangibles. We want tangibles. What's Tariq's agenda for actually getting you those tangibles? And more importantly, if he has an agenda, have you vetted it? Is his agenda so innovative that we couldn't give ADOS a try? Sure, I'm not asking you to vote Democrat. See, unlike Yvette and Tone, I know how sometimes, because they fucked up on this too. They should have just owned the fact that they either was in their own feelings about the Democrat shit or they misspoke. Because they did say at the conference when they announced the strat, Yvette said voting down ballot. No real explanation as if we were all supposed, because don't worry, ADOS people have got enough blame for some of this shit too. And we are going to get to it. But what is the agenda of FBA? Everybody who's FBA that I saw, who's just hardcore FBA, right? We're all watching Tariq live today. Not a single one of them was at any discussions about political ramifications of this DACA shit in the Supreme Court or at the Supreme Court itself dealing with this issue of 42 USC Section 1981, also known as the Civil Rights Act of 1866. None of them were picking up a damn book and educating themselves as to how the Supreme Court could actually hear the case in the first place. Oh, but they can tell you everything about Byron Allen's white bitch and Sinclair group. How's that going to further your agenda for tangibles? How is it that you're supposed to go out and get tangibles with no politics? Explain this one to me, because don't get me wrong, I'm all trust me, I'm all for a protest vote. I'm all for no black agenda, no vote. I'm cool with it. All of these are great, great options in our political advocacy. But all of them share one thing in common. All of them involve political action. Sitting your ass at home in 2020, twiddling your dick and acting like, yeah, we showed them Democrats, we showed them. What? How is that politics? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Y'all right. Because FBA ain't about politics. They're not an organization. Make it make fucking sense. Make it make sense. I'm saying this as an ADOS supporter who did not agree with the down ballot strat. You don't throw out the damn baby with the bathwater. Tariq stole a whole damn movement. And the worst part about it is the nigga in all of us let him do it. The nigga in all of us let him do it. We sat there and watched him steal it. We watched him perpetrate a fucking fraud. He over there talking about, see, what I'm trying to do for your family is we got to get our money up. And see, once we get our money up, oh, Tariq, that's so innovative. See, they just want to keep you over there thinking about how broke we is. Well, strangely enough, that's what the data shows. The data doesn't give a fuck about your feelings, Tariq. The data doesn't care if you feel good. The data is the data. So far, we have talked about, this is the code per Neely Fuller. Stop snitching, stop name calling, stop cursing, stop gossiping, stop being discourteous, and stop stealing. Number 7, stop robbing. To rob a person is to use direct bodily harm and or to use the threat of direct bodily harm to take from a person any one or more things that he or she possesses, and then to use the things taken to please the mind or to make controllable the body of the person doing the talking. I can't accuse him of robbing nobody. Not that I'm aware of. Just saying. So we found one. If he's robbed somebody, present your evidence. I haven't seen that he's actually used direct bodily harm or the threat of direct bodily harm to take anything away from anybody. Number 8, stop fighting. People should not fight as long as they can talk to each other, and should talk to each other in such a manner as to minimize conflict and or to better promote justice. We don't even need to address this one. I don't think the brother has had a fight he wasn't enjoying. I don't think he's had a fight that he's tried to avoid. This, of course, isn't to put a burden on Tariq, an onus on Tariq that he doesn't have to meet. He doesn't know Antonio. So he could have just simply not assumed malice. And yes, after they don't worry, Sheer, we'll get there. By the way, Native Black Observers, Sheer, all of you who are here, thank you so much for your love and support and for you taking your time to listen to a brother today. Hopefully what I'm saying is worthy, and I'm not done. But I don't think we have to even touch this one. There is not an engagement that Tariq will engage with that he won't find a way to make a fight out of it if he wants to. Number 9, stop killing. Again, I can't address this one. When forced to do so in direct defense of self, others, and or major property, or except when forced to do so through the enactment of maximum emergency compensatory justice. I won't go into detail on that. I would definitely encourage you to read Dr. Fuller's work. But maximum emergency compensatory justice is basically a concept where I'm just going to let you do your research. I would recommend you do so. Some call it maximum emergency compensatory justice. Some call it maximum emergency compensatory action, MECA. You look into it yourself. I can't say that Tariq's killed anybody, so we can skip that one. Oh, but here we go. Number 10. Stop squabbling amongst yourselves and asking racist, white supremacists to settle your problems. One of the major non-just acts that racist white supremacists commit is to establish situations that cause and or encourage non-white people to squabble amongst themselves. Racists do not approve of any fights or arguments between non-white people that non-white people settle amongst themselves without the so-called help of the racists. Racists do not knowingly allow any non-white person or persons to do anything that does not directly or indirectly help to promote racism, white supremacy. They approve of and encourage non-white people to fight each other, kill each other, squabble with each other, name-call each other, and or do anything that best helps non-white people to remain confused and non-constructive. Fight, kill, squabble, name-call, and any other behavior that helps people to remain confused and non-constructive. You don't think, fam, that accusing the American descendants of slavery political action piece, accusing them of being bootlicks to the Democrats, you don't think that that is non-constructive and doesn't confuse people? You don't think that claiming that people are hating on your conference when you've already stated that your conference isn't going to do anything that the other conference did? You think that doesn't promote confusion and isn't non-constructive? He's been indicted by his own words, fam. His own words. His own words. This, according to Tariq Nasheed, is the code. We've only been able to acknowledge 2 items on this list that Tariq seems to regularly practice, and both of them would involve actions that, should he not practice them, would mean that he would be locked up in prison or some such. Not my words, Tariq's. This is the code. This is the code. Is Tariq on code? No, but he demands that everybody else be. So if he's not adhering to this code, even though he talks about this code all the time, if he's not adhering to this one, then those of you who follow him need to ask yourselves, what code is he following? Because he is obviously following a code of ideas and things that motivate his behavior. If it is not this code, then what code is he following? Feel free to ask him that at your leisure. Be surprised if he actually gives you an answer that's sensible, because I don't think he will. And DJ, I don't care about being called an agent. I told you, I'm a black sheep already. I can promise you, there's things about my life that will alienate every one of you if you knew everything about me. So I don't have to give a fuck what he says. But you know what though, fam? My so-called ADOS brothers and sisters, y'all in for it too. See, I'm lucky because I follow Tariq. I've watched his work, such as it is, right? And I'm a part of ADOS. Have been since the beginning. But ADOS, not Yvette and Tone, you have been out of pocket like a motherfucker. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell it. You see, fam, I don't talk about it much, but I have an IQ of 160. Technically, I am a genius. Now that means about a hill of fucking beans, okay? Doesn't mean shit. But I would like to think that I'm somewhat intelligent. Somewhat. All right? Now, I will admit that I don't know everything. There are gaps in my knowledge, things that I don't know, shit that I've got biases on, and so on and so forth. You dig? Right? I'll admit that. So when I have a gap in my knowledge, when my brain computer just ain't operating up to 100% efficiency, sometimes I need to ask for more information. Now, it just so happens I like research. So it's going to be hard to keep your man Mark Black from delving into a book, dusty tomes in the back shelves of libraries and law libraries and so on and so forth. It's going to be hard. I ain't everybody. Do you, beloved ADOS people, know how many people you've alienated by just assuming that they should know the political shit you know? In a world where we understand that civics is just not a thing anymore, they don't even teach civics in school anymore. In a world where everybody is encouraged to be political based off of fucking sound bites and personalities, you really believe that everybody is just going to hear you say something political one time and they're just going to get it? They're just going to get it and run with it. But what do, ADOS? What do? You take the worst behaviors from Yvette Tone and you emulate those as their partisans. That's right. Yvette's good for a lot of shit. I love Yvette. truth be told, I think of her as like my little sister because I think I'm older than her. Right? But Yvette be out of pocket some motherfucking time. And I get it. You only have roughly 2 hours, 2 times a week to address what you want to say and to hear a little bit about what everybody else want to say. So if somebody doesn't quite gather or understand what's going on and they haven't necessarily been following and been able to take the time to go back in the archives and watch videos from like 3 years ago, and they say something a little bit confused or a little bit off point, and you disagree, rather than educate, which I would think is Yvette and Tone's primary job, you just simply dismiss them. She will say a phrase that I'm so sick of hearing that if I ever hear another ADOS person saying it, I'm giving them shade, fire, and smoke. You don't know enough. You don't know enough to have this conversation. Bullshit! There was a time when you didn't know enough to have this motherfucking conversation. For all your high-flung rhetoric, ADOS people, I'm talking to the political wing, right? The politicals, the ones who's out there doing the work. It is time for you to have a come to fucking Jesus moment. You were not born these goddamn political paragons that were able to instantly pick up on every single piece of political minutia. You were not born and the first word out of your mouth was down valley. I'm going to tell you another indictment that I have of you ADOS folk and me. It has gotten to the point where a lot of us are starting to put in some work and we're starting to see some W's. And I think that that is an amazing motherfucking thing. That is an amazing thing. But you know what though, fam? We starting to smell ourselves a little bit. Because I'm sorry, but Tariq wasn't necessarily wrong about the Umar sniff. Sure, he wasn't right in the context in which he used it. Because I don't think it's Tone and Yvette that necessarily are afflicted with the Umar sniff. I think some of us are afflicted with the Umar sniff. We sit there and echo chamber each other about how many politicos campaigns we've shut down, and we big each other up, and we need that inspiration, no doubt. No doubt. But guess what? We're so hype about doing the work. We're so hype about taking these politicos down. We're so hype about making it clear where everybody stands that we're neglecting the people that's coming behind us. We're like a bunch of people that's living high on the hog but not having children. How you think this thing is supposed to proceed? Every day, there are new people who are learning about ADOS every single day. And many times, unfortunately, they're learning about ADOS through people who are opposed to us. Like that article, that fucking shit show, that hit piece published in the New York Times by Farrah Stockman. Tell me this, fam. Why? Oh, why was Tone response to the article so damned muted? Are we so thirsty for acceptance from the mainstream society that we're here, that we are ADOS and we exist? Are we so damn thirsty that we can't call a hit piece a hit piece? Man, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't tell you how ashamed I was. I was like, thank you, New York Times, for what? Thank Farrah Stockman for what? Then she followed up with a little follow-up piece that's just as bad. And we're supposed to say, thank you. Can I have another one? What? The ego. The absolute ego to think that we got shine from a hit piece. I can't. Tone is out of pocket for that one. That shit is embarrassing. If you're going to be a leader, an influencer, right? A thought leader, an advocate, I would think that if the masses of your people are telling you, hey, this was a hit piece, this was bullshit, that you could at least co-sign that. There are times, Yvette and Tone, when we need you to not be so goddamn high-minded, where we need you to be willing to get a little dirty. I'm not saying that we want to take away every opportunity for you to be able to get in there and talk to people and this, that, and the third, right? I get it. Y'all want to sit at the table. I understand. But sometimes you got to get grimy. Because I tell you what, one thing that all those FBA people are over there saying now is that the founders of the ADOS hashtag are bootlickers. So we went from being MAGA to being Democratic operatives to being ass kissers and bootlickers. And every step of the way, Yvette and Tone could have said something that would have squelched all that shit, but instead they decided to take the high road. If we were even going to give Tariq et Alia any airtime, any headspace at all, then you have to sometimes get in the motherfucking pig pen right along with them. Except there's a problem. We have to be careful that when we get into the pig pen with him, that he ain't climbed out. Because Tariq now comes off to a whole bunch of people looking like the elder statesman. Looking like the great man. That broadcast that he had the other day was like, I love you and this, that. Please do share. I want to hear from all of you. And thank y'all for being patient with me. ADOS, I need you to understand that we can rise no higher than the lowest, most ignorant, most decrepit mentality person that we have among us. In other words, as long as we are ADOS, as long as we're pushing this political advocacy, if there's one of us that don't understand strats, if there's one of us who don't understand political shit, if one of us ain't getting it and we leave them behind, we ain't going no further than them. And I don't give a fuck how much fun work you think you're accomplishing. You're not. Education is what you signed up for. Not just your education, but the education of every ADOS tribesman that you come across. And if you're not for that work, then like you tell everybody else, there's the door. Because you're a hindrance to us. If one of our people come to you and say they don't understand Dow ballot, I don't give a fuck if 50 people have already described the process. You describe it again. And you describe it again and again and again and again. And I don't want to hear this shit about, we made videos, we did this, we did that. That's crap. Some people learn by watching, visual learners. Some people are auditory learners. Some people are kinesthetic learners. Some people are a combination of both. Some people learn more in groups of people. Some people learn more by themselves. We have to take into account where everybody's learning style is and tailor the message to the individual. We are a lineage and we're high off it. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But fam, don't get so goddamn high-minded you're no earthly good. We still need people who are going to be willing to educate and be patient. We still need people that have no problem for the 12th time today explaining down ballot. We have to have people that don't mind typing tweet after tweet like I have over the last 2 days explaining how the Civil Rights Act of 1866 got before the Supreme Court in the first place. I have talked to people about how the Supreme Court granted certiorari to hear the case. I wrote people how I've even posted screenshots of the actual legislation in the congressional record. And I would do it again 50 times, 100 times, 1,000 times until our people get it. Because I cannot go any further than them. I'm stuck until they're up here with me. I ain't got no goddamn ego in this shit. I don't care about being the boss, the leader, or nothing. I am who I am. The angry black sheep with a big fucking mouth, a big heart, and a big tribe to fight for, and a hell of a justice claim to push. Ego has been the death knell of everything we have tried to do as ADOS in this country. And ego is the sure sign of the presence of the nigga. Because ego simply means self in psychological terms. You always know when the nigga's there. When the nigga in you, you already know when the nigga in you's coming out. Because the nigga in you keeps talking about I, me, mine. The tribesman in you always says us, we, ours. I can't go any further than the lowest one among us. Fam, if they sign the checks tomorrow, if we still haven't done the work to help the most ignorant, unstudious, right? Like us, we, ours. That's what you signed up for when you said, I am ADOS. I am an American descendant of slavery. When you acknowledged that lineage, when you claimed that name, that work became part of your birthright. And it also became your sacred honor, duty, and responsibility. And you don't get to shuffle it off because it's not glamorous. It's not Brother Jamie on with his camera. Right? It's not standing out with placards on the steps of the Supreme Court. It is the most shitty, unglamorous work that you ever will have the pleasure of doing. But make no mistake about it, there is no way ADOS is going anywhere if we are willing to leave people behind. My brother Travis uses the image of the 300, the 300 Spartans, right, who fought at Thermopylae. How many of you saw that movie, right? How many of you know the story of the 300 Spartans that allegedly held off 1 million Persians at Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, right? For those of you who did see the movie, and the movie was nuts, right? Who was it that ultimately caused the demise of the 300? A hunchback who was told he wasn't good enough to stand on the line with the Spartans. He was willing. He was willing. He begged Leonidas for the opportunity to stand up and fight for his people. Leonidas is like, nah, we got this. Did they have it? They all ended up dead as fuck, riddled with arrows and left there on the beach to rot. We are going nowhere if we leaving people behind. Some people gotta go, right? If they poison, right? If they toxic, right? If they all mouth and no work, fuck them. But y'all turning away people that you could actually be teaching. You're turning away FELTs. And then you're wondering why you're getting stabbed in the back. And for those brothers and sisters who ain't with the politics, fam, all of you ADOS actives, right? The ones who are ADOS actives that are doing the political work, let it ride. They'll either come around or they won't come around. But if they still acknowledge they're tied to you, the shared tide of lineage and heritage, and they're not betraying you, they're not actively working against you, then let them be. Not everybody's going to be in the active forefront of everything. For some people right now, they're comfortable with just claiming the name. Shit, do you know what an effort, ADOS, that it's been to just get people to claim the name? You got people out here talking about, man, I ain't with no more slave shit. Do you know how hard it is to just get people to claim the name? You got people out here who are willing to claim the name, who acknowledge our tie that binds. Let them be. They'll come around. It's not like they ain't soldiers. They just haven't went through boot yet. That's all it is. They civilians right now. We need civilians too. Because I can guarantee you, maybe they not political. But I guarantee you, our brothers and sisters who are ADOS, who claim the name, if we're ever in their city and we don't tell them that we're there and let them offer us a place to eat and maybe a place to live for a minute or a place to crash out for a night, will look at us like we crazy. That shit's important too. It was just like I said in my last broadcast, fam. The United States military is powerful, not because of so many frontline fighters, but because of its support apparatus. Some of these brothers and sisters got other shit on their plate, and they not really with the politics right now. They'll claim the name. They have no problem acknowledging their ADOS-ness. That in and of itself, damn it, is a victory. We as ADOS got to learn when we're winning. We have to learn when we're holding the W. We've been holding so many L's for so long, family, that we don't know how to recognize when we're winning. Stop with the ego, minting more FELTs. We don't need any more people who could have been up there with us, but now are left behind to stab us in the fucking back. We are fighting. We're fighting the greatest fight that we ever thought we could fight. We're actually going up against the United States government for specific redress of a historical grievance that we've held now for 400 years. If this ain't a fight, I don't know what it is. And I can tell you, as a soldier, as a veteran, that in the trenches, you need every damn body you can get. Fam, I served in units where my bunkmate next door was an open white supremacist. But when it was time to put rounds down range in defense of our asses and this country's ass, we shot together. Because some things go beyond your own individual shit. FBA wants it to be about culture. Then let it be. Let them be about the culture. We don't need to be giving them no more air, no more time, no more space. If they want to do politics, the door's still open for them. If they want to do slurs, slander, and lies, we can just simply ignore that shit. Thank you, Stakes, fam. I appreciate it. Right? Fam, we ADOS. We've been called everything but a child of God. And we're going to be called everything worse than what Tariq has called us before it's all said and done. What I said about Tariq is all I got to say about Tariq. We all know what the fuck and who he is. Now, the people that want to follow him, let them follow him. You know what I'm saying? He's on some old, Maximus shit. Are you not entertained? Let them entertain people. It ain't gonna get them nowhere, and they'll see that soon enough. Hell, I hope they hold 4 conferences next year. to show everybody how big black people is doing it. They need to shine. Let them shine. My Christian brothers and sisters know the story of the prodigal child. He wanted to shine too. So his father said, hey, you want to shine? Here's your inheritance. Go right ahead. Go shine. And he went and shined his ass off in the land of Canaan, kicking it. What happened to him? He ended up in a damn trough eating alongside the pigs. Came back home begging his father, not for his space as son, but just to be allowed to work in his fields. But remember, family, remember the end of that story. His father saw him and took him right back in. I ain't canceling nobody, even FBA people. They want to shit on us and call us, sellouts and call us bait for the Democrats and want to call us MAGA and say that we're going to be Black Lives Matter because Yvette's gay and Tone ain't got no career. Man, let them say whatever the fuck they going to say. They going to say it anyway. It's not like we can be able to stop them. Let them shine. Let them shine. They'll find out soon enough. Right? Before I open up the phones, fam, I want to leave you, or I want to say one last thing before I open up the phones. And thank you, Sister Toolbox. I appreciate the love. Fam, YouTube ain't going to monetize this. I done dropped way too many M-bombs and too many curse words. So please, if you think what I had to say is worthy, show me some love. But fam, I'm from Missouri. Yeah, the slave state. The motto of Missouri is to show me state. We Missourians have a saying, I can show you better than I can tell you. ADOS, let's continue to show them. Let's show them that everybody, whosoever may come, if they share this lineage, we're willing to put in all the work required. The education, starting with what you think is the most basic shit. Being ADOS is the toughest job you'll ever love. Real talk. We don't have to sit there and have back and forths with FBA people and this, that, and the third. We can show them better. We can tell them. They want to say we kissing Byron Allen ass and Tone is getting the bag and this, that, and the third. Let them. Let them. They doing it for the culture. Let them shine like diamonds. Burn bright. Burn out. The race, family, is not given to the swift. Come on, Christian brothers and sisters, but to the one who endures to the end. Shine bright like a diamond. Go ahead, FBA fam. Do it for the culture. I need to see at least 3 conferences out y'all next year. I want to see you shine bright. And when you're ready to actually go after those tangibles that you be talking about, when you're actually ready to go ahead and get that substantive change that you're talking about, ADOS will be here. We share the same lineage, so we ain't going nowhere. Whether you acknowledge us or not, we ain't going nowhere. So we'll be here, still doing the work, still getting in the mud, still dragging our fellow tribes people right along with us, waiting on you to figure it out and come on home. We'll still be here. Meanwhile, fam, maybe it's Mr. Fuller's code. Maybe it's the 10 Commandments. I don't know. But all I got to say is anybody come to you talking about code, you better damn well make them fucking define it. Thank you, Lookie. I appreciate the love, fam. You better damn well make them define it. Fam, Dr. Neely Fuller said that the salvation of ADOS people from under white supremacy, racism, white supremacy, is a series of questions and answers. So you, ADOS, you, FBA, you, those of my tribes people who share my lineage, you had damn well better start learning how to ask some questions. And not those gotcha questions that Tariq like to ask, you know, the ones where he's like, oh, we'll talk about the Sinclair group. Would it help you to know that I, as an ADOS proponent and have been from the beginning, don't give a fuck about Byron Allen? Byron Allen wasn't what convinced me that I need to stand up and say something about what's happening at the Supreme Court. It wasn't Yvette and Tone. I got eyes and I can read. A key piece of legislation that made it possible for my ancestors to be able to actually contract, which is the basis of citizenship, is being threatened by a move by the Supreme Court. I'm not necessarily making Comcast the big bad. They got every right to exhaust their legal options to appeal all the way up to the Supreme Court. And I'm also not going to sit here and act like Byron Allen was a saint. It was him that chose that particular statute as the basis for his claim. It was his choosing that statute that ultimately allowed this to even be a question before the court. So I don't have a fucking horse in the race. But I recognize when the potential for my rights to be eroded is there, that's enough for me. I don't need to be kissing Byron Allen ass or anybody else's ass to fight in my people in my best interests. And see, Tariq, that's what you and your partisans don't understand. Because for y'all, it's all about your own interests. So you don't know what it's like to have that innate burning desire to care about somebody else's interests, right? You think niggas like me is lost in the sauce. Because I actually give a damn about my fellow tribes people. Because what I want for myself, I can't rest until I have it for them too. That's a concept you don't understand. So of course I look nutty to you. Of course I look like a punk to you. It's all good. It's all good, fam. Y'all go ahead. Shine. Do it for the culture. Revolt was about the culture too. And Tariq made it clear that what he's doing isn't in competition with ADOS. It's in competition with Revolt. We saw how effective Revolt was at doing anything tangible for black folk. So do it for the culture. We ain't talking about no politics. You ain't got to talk about no politics, Tariq. I hope you sell out. I hope you sell all the tickets plus some. For the culture. 425-296-1980 is the number, fam. First come, first serve. You know what it is. I'm broke. And when you call in, make sure you do it for the culture. For the culture. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't take it serious. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. You know, I'm 46. I'll be 47 in January. If you pray for your brother, all right? That I'll be 47 in January, right? But I just don't get it. For the culture. The fuck out of here. We all broke, but we doing it for the culture. Oh, but you know what? They don't want to hear the data. They don't give a fuck about data. Like, that data shit boring, right? This political shit boring. Right? Ain't nobody got time for that. Calling from 347. It's your man, Mark Black. Where you calling from? What's your name and what's on your mind?
Yes, this is Antonio Ados from New York City.
Yes, sir, brother. Good to hear from you. The floor is yours. Talk to us, fam. I'm sorry. Are you doing it for the culture, fam?
Pretty much, you said it all tonight, man. Everything that you said, I agree. It's a lot of craziness going on, with this arguments and everything. But I'm just gonna say, I knew this was coming when he first announced the FBA thing, a couple of weeks ago in one of his videos, and then he tried to play it off by talking about music, the change in music.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and so in the comment section, because I didn't want to type anything in the live chat, I just waited to the show, and I typed in, I say, here we go.
Yep.
I said, here comes something that's going to divide us all, or or probably dismantle this whole movement that we're going. It depends on how the people react to what he's doing and what he's about.
No, it won't. And I'm gonna tell you why, fam, it won't. See, here's the thing. The reason why it won't is because we have a secret weapon that even thieves, liars, cheats, scumbags can't destroy. We have a weapon that we can use, and that weapon is our lineage. See, Tariq can say whatever he likes about our political goals, aims, interests, right? He can make fun of us individually about our sexual proclivities, who we banging, who we not banging. He can talk about how much ass we kissing and personality worship and this, that, and the third. He can talk about all of that, right? But what he can't do is make us not ADOS.
Exactly.
Like, he can't do that. Nobody can do that. We are our lineage. Right? I am the child of my mother and father. So are you, bruh. Right? So at the end of the day, it really don't matter like what people be talking about. You see what I'm saying? Let them chop.
Exactly.
Right? We got work to do.
But what I've been doing, honestly, and the way I look at it, even though he's saying the things that he's saying, my job is to go into those chats and, and say my point of view about the whole thing as far as like defending Adolf, and also telling people, to look through the things that, people like Tyreek will say. There's nothing wrong with listening to someone say what they got to say, but you got to learn how to, like, what's the word? What's the thing I'm trying to convey? It's kind of like being what's the word that people use? Like the double-edged sword, like you playing devil's advocate or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the good with the bad, but you got to be able to decipher the foolishness and just throw away the garbage and just take whatever, that you can take from it. If that makes sense. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
No, fam, I feel you. I mean, look, what if I told you that we don't need you to defend us? Not in that way. I mean, there are other fights where we're going to need all ADOS people to step up, right? But in this type of shit, as far as slander, disrespect, name calling, backbiting, stealing, nah, man, we done been through way worse than this. I mean, not to say we gonna like it. I don't like reading those tweets and shit, but it is what it is. All right. Let's see here. Caller from 301. It's your man, Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, we done been through way worse than this.
Hello, my brother.
Hey, brother, make sure you turn down the background so we can give some good quality audio to the fam. We want to hear everything you're saying.
Okay.
Brother, you got to make sure you turn down the background. We getting me coming back. So
okay,
there you go.
Okay, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm doing all right, fam. Talk to us. What's on your mind?
Yeah. I've been lately. I've been listening to various ADOS, speakers on YouTube and so forth, and really, various. I've been trying to sort of, I've been trying to sort things out for myself, to try and get some understanding, because I identify as ADOS. But I had a question, like you said, it's good for a question to arrive and so forth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was thinking, what do you think of trying to establish elder ADOS council so that we can deal with situations like this? It's been a tradition in African society, if you ever read in African literature or anything, they talk about the elders they always, when they have disputes or conflict and so forth, they always go to the elders.
Mm-hmm.
When Minister Farrakhan was dealing with the Million Man March and so forth, the first one was, he got on atonement. His main subject was atonement. Then when he came back with the second Million Man March, he tried to structure it on the form of a government structure with different departments and so forth. I was thinking that if we had a council of elders, because I've watched I tuned into Yvette and Antonio conference that they had down in Alabama and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Yvette and I listened to Antonio, but the wisdom of Dr. Daddy far outreached them. In other words, it's as though he had some understanding and knowledge and temperament that was able to, tone down something. In other words, what they're saying. Like a council of elders, it might be for the people, the states where ADOS has a presence in various states like California, New York, and so forth, that the ADOS community could decide, well, we'll elect or select two people from whichever state that has these, like you got two senators, you have two elders from that state that would sit in on the council, because we're going to run into some disputes. We're going to run into conflicts as long
as black people is black people.
Yeah. This is something we're going to have to deal with forever, because I was listening to one sister and she was talking about this is nothing new, because even during the civil rights era, you had SNCC, you had all of that, you had all of this conflict and everything, you had Stokely Carmichael coming at Dr. King, you had this, you had the Nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nothing new. We're going to have this, but I think it would be a big move. I think it would be something that would be very powerful.
Brother, let me ask you a
if
question.
We had a council.
Let me ask you a question.
ADOS had a council of elders that could say, well, this is what the council of elders. The council of elders that came in the room. You who are out advocating. We want you to go out advocating for our reparations and and to push our agenda and so forth. But the council of elders can come in and say, well, this is the voice of the council of elders, people that have. See,
brother, hold on a second. Let me ask you a quick question, because I think I got where you're coming from, right? And I want to take as many calls as I can before Yvette does her broadcast. So I just want to ask you one quick question. You individually, right? How do you feel that your political savvy is, right? You as my elder brother, as an individual, where do you think you are in your political education? And I'm asking that not to slight you or shade you, but to get a gauge of who you are as an individual. Where are you? Where do you feel like you are in your political education?
I think I'm just tapping. I'm in the stage of. I would say I wouldn't call it the embryonic stage, because I'm quite a few years older than you, and I've gone through the process and so forth, and I've experienced and so forth. I would think I'm beyond the embryonic stage. I think I have the maturity, the understanding, and so forth, and the ability to, based on my experience, to educate people on some of the political ploys and so forth, or the political pitfalls and so forth. So I would think I'm moderate. I think well, if you want to grade it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I'm about a 5.
All right, I appreciate that. So let me then make a suggestion as your younger brother and one who loves you. Do that.
Okay. Okay.
Do that, right? The reason why I'm telling you is that all too often we get bound up through inertia of organizational stuff that we lose our flexibility. Fam, hold on a second. Fam, I can only take one call at a time. I got this brother on the line. Let me finish with this call, and then I'll be taking the next one first come, first serve. The reason why I'm saying that, fam, is that we have to maintain a degree of flexibility. Now, this is not to say that elders can't be flexible. As a matter of fact, as I'm becoming an elder, I would like to think that I'm becoming more flexible, more open-minded, and not as rigid as I used to be. But the thing is that we need rapid response, right? We are a patient that's lying on the ground, bleeding out. We don't need a council of doctors to try and diagnose this bullet wound we got. What we need is EMTs, right? We need elder brothers and sisters that will help us to see the pitfalls and get to us before we get to them. We don't need somebody to help us to come in and resolve the shit after we done already fell in the pit, right? In other words, as you said, disputes will rise, and I feel you, right? Because we always got the nigga that we got to deal with, right? But that being said, if our elders have wisdom they want to share with us that they think will help us to overcome and avoid these pitfalls, then help us to avoid the pitfalls. Help us to get there before we get. So, brother, if you have this political education, I strongly encourage you to contact every medium, every place that you could have a voice and start talking. Right? Don't wait for a council of people to gather together and get titles, and because man, we already got the Urban League and the NAACP and all these other councils and organizations, 9/10 of which is nigh on useless to us in our actual needs, in our actual attempts to struggle. This is not to say that they didn't once have their place. This isn't to say that they couldn't have a place again. But this is to say that right now where we are, we have to do proper triage. And right now we have a bullet wound. And 2053 waits for nobody. If you're an elder that's got wisdom that we need to avoid traps, that to play this political game savvy, then jump in.
I hear what you're saying, as far as the Urban League, the NAACP, and all these, but a lot of them don't want to accept the title as being ADOS.
That's all right. That's all right.
So I'm talking. The council I was talking about was a council of elders of ADOS. I wasn't talking about like you said, we got the Urban League and so forth. They are fighting against even identifying as ADOS.
Yeah, but you have people who identify as ADOS who work every day against our interests. Simply because you accept the identity doesn't automatically mean that you're having our best interests at heart, right? We have so much work that needs to be done and so many places where this work can be done that literally everybody from 8 to 80 who is a part of our lineage can get on board, find a place on the battlefront where they fit in and start doing work, right? You don't need a council. You don't need permission from me, elder brother. If you got this knowledge and wisdom, I got a platform. Call in like you just did and drop jewels. If you want help maybe creating your own channel or something like that where you can share political nuggets of wisdom with ADOS family. You don't need a bunch of other elder brothers and sisters there with you to give your word power and imprimatur, because if you have the wisdom, it will show in what it is that you're doing. You're the savior we've been waiting for. So do work, elder brother. You don't need a council. You don't need nobody's permission. If you got this stuff, we need it. Give it to us. Throw it out there.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely weigh all of what you're saying. And we'll communicate.
Of course, brother. Hey, do not be a stranger, elder brother. You are welcome here and always feel like you can call in. I want you to have a voice and I want you to share that wisdom and share that knowledge with us. And I thank you today for your call, fam.
Okay, peace.
Peace, brother. Fam, the beautiful thing about this transformational moment, right? This recognition of our lineage and our heritage. The beautiful thing about it, fam, is that you don't need nobody's permission to get in and do this work. Caller from 857, it's your man Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Hi, it's Sherry. How are you?
Sherry. Okay, thank you for correcting my pronunciation. You know, it could have been pronounced a couple of different ways. And of course, leave it to your man Mark Black to mess it up. Sherry, welcome to the broadcast, sister. The floor is yours. What's on your mind?
God. I was like, I gotta talk to you.
I'm glad that you called in today, sister. What's on your mind?
Okay, so, well, you have seen me on Twitter probably.
Yes, I have.
At Pandora. And, oh my God, it's like you're psychic. You pulled out of my mind because this morning when I checked in on Twitter, I had all these Twitters from the regular ADOS folks. And I had made a comment because last night there was a guy and they were going back and forth with another ADOS Twitter person. And I jumped in because I could see that the person was asking about voting down ballot. He was very confused. And I said, now, is he trolling or is he just really confused?
Right.
And so I said, you know what? Let me be patient. And I walked him through it. And after our conversation, because he was getting upset, nigger came out in response to somebody else.
Yep.
And once I walked him through everything, and I was like, listen, you know what? You can do this. I'm like, this is your story. Yvette and Tone gave you the template. Use it as that. You don't have to take what they say as gospel. You have to make it your own.
That's right.
And when I walked him through all the steps that he would need to do to educate himself politically, he was good. And what happened was I ended up tweeting, I don't know if you know her handle, at Indie Mama.
Oh, I know Indie Mama.
I said to her, I'm kind of confused. I got a problem because if he, and this gentleman said to me, he was at the conference when they were talking about downvoting. I stringed it. I missed the part where they said vote down ballot for Dems because I'm an independent. I don't let anybody tell me who I should vote for.
I hear you.
And I've been independent since I started voting.
Sister Sherry. Sister Sherry, before you continue, I think Tone needs to own that. I really do. That shit caused a lot of confusion that did not need to happen. I get that Tone feels like the Democrats owe us. America owes us. I'm not voting for a Democrat dog catcher.
Fuck all that. It could be anybody. Anybody who has our back, that's who we should be down for. It doesn't matter. I see, because I live in Massachusetts. So our politics don't work like that. We don't have the obnoxious Republicans that many people experience.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I'm going to vote who does the best for me. It's just like, I didn't vote for Ayanna Presley, okay? I don't like her.
I hear you.
And I'm constantly on her on Twitter, and I email her and everything else. And I find her politics very sketchy. And I call her on it. So, and I guess because I'm not a follower, I can hear what Yvette says, I hear what Tone says, and I interpret it in how I can move within that framework.
Absolutely.
So
and
I
you know
don't
what,
take
sister?
what they say as rote.
No, but that's
okay.
That's the thing. That's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
And I told someone, I was telling them yesterday, because I was having a problem. First of all, fucking Joe Brown is a goddamn nut.
Don't even get me started on that dude, man.
As you can see, I'm so upset about what between him and Tariq and trying to destroy Black people, and this is the problem I have, because like you said, it's a we, and I constantly refer to us as we, us. I never say I, because it is not about myself. We have to save each other, or our children are going to be dead. Okay, I don't have kids of my own.
Mm-hmm.
No one in my family has kids. So I am concerned about people who do have children, Black
Yep.
children, who need to have a future. And if we don't consider that, then we might as well just all drink the Kool-Aid and get the fuck off the planet, because there's no reason to live.
Facts.
Okay? And I see that, and I'm getting so frustrated with folks. And my problem with Yvette, and I'm sorry I'm rambling on, because
No,
I
sister.
get so
Look,
frustrated about what I see, what's going on.
speak your piece, right? Like Umar would say, speak your
When
speech.
I have hung in there with Yvette for years, when she was by herself, when she was with Army, and now she's by herself again. And my thing with her, she's a coward. And I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry, Peter.
Oh, okay. No, go ahead, sis.
Be a fucking coward. Okay?
Now I need you though. I need you to provide some evidence and explain yourself. So go right ahead.
Because she's with the respectability that I see the nonsense with her when people call in, they swear, oh, don't swear. I can't get down with that. I can't. As you see, I swear, and just because someone swears does not make them unrespectable. That's why I get upset with people who refer to Michi as classless, because I respect her. She's herself. And when I see people, I want them to be authentic. And I find Yvette not authentic. And I'll tell you when I really came to that conclusion was a night that Dr. Alexander Hamilton came on, and he was speaking about Kamala Harris. I came back. I was at work when I was listening to him, on lunch break. I couldn't hear it all, so I came back. She had edited it out, and I have had a problem with her ever since. She does not have a right to do something like that. If someone's calling into your show, respect them. Everybody has an opinion. You're going to get upset because you get demonetized for what someone else says? It has nothing to do with you. That was that person's opinion. How are you going to start censoring people calling into your show? And ever since then, I have had a problem with her.
Okay,
because
all right.
It's inauthentic.
Now, may
and
I?
I noticed that about her.
May I? Because I actually, as you probably have guessed, ain't really with the whole respectability shtick. But I also pay a price for it because I can't monetize 90% of my videos. And trust me, I love my people, but damn it, I got a powerful need to eat sometime this month too as well, right? So I'm not making grand theft, as you can see. People give whatever they're able, and I'm grateful for every single penny. You feel me? Right? So I make the choice to allow people to kind of express themselves the way they feel like expressing themselves, right?
Somebody's calling me disrespectful and petty.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Giving my opinion about
something. Hold on a second, sister. We talking. You and me. Forget the chat. Okay? Don't pay attention to the chat. It's you and me having a conversation, right? Okay, now check this out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I used to go to my grandma's house, right? My grandmother had a couch and 2 chairs that she had upholstered, and she had covered in plastic. And she would not let you sit on any of them. You could be dressed to the nines, just got out the shower, don't matter. You couldn't sit on those. The only time we ever sat on those was during special events, like special occasions, like holidays, where we took pictures and things like that, right? And I used to think, why in the heck will my grandmother have these stupid couches and chairs that we can't sit on, right? And I thought it was nonsense, and I still do. But here's the thing. That was grandma's house. If I was going to come and visit, I knew that I can't sit on those sofas and those chairs. I didn't have to like it. You see what I'm saying? but that's her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with
Right.
Yvette. Sis, I would encourage you, if you have not became an angry black sheep, to become one. You sound like just my type of people, right? But Yvette runs,
I'm
but
a
Yvette runs
subscriber.
a
I am a
different type of
subscriber.
platform where
But you know
she's.
what? And I understand how people love her, but I do find her sometimes to be, and tone can be abrasive. And this is what my problem is. It's like with this person I was tweeting with, and when I made a comment to Indie Mama, I said,
Hold on a
I'm really
second.
confused about what happened at the conference because it seems like people don't understand this whole down ballot thing. And how did that happen?
Sister, the only solution that I have to that is just simply saying that you can, you know what, I'll give you a case in point. All right, I'm not gonna say this person's name, but there's a well-known black YouTuber that I literally can't stand. Right? I think they
Mm-hmm.
abrasive, just sometimes just flat out evil. And I've been listening to them for years, mind you. Okay, I'm talking at least a decade. All right. What I
Right.
ultimately had to come to understand, though, was that it ain't necessarily about how I feel about the person delivering the information. Is the information appropriate? Is it apropos? Is it valid? Is it something that I can use? Right? If it is,
Right.
then damn who's saying it, right? You feel me? Like I have to sometimes be
No,
like that because
and on that I agree with you. That's why I continuously tune in
well
to
then
Break
sister,
It
you may
Down. I'm a subscriber
I'm,
with
I'm
her too.
simply saying that I
So
get what you feel on that, right? I get that their
right,
personalities may rub you the wrong way. But if you're getting what you need, right? And I would argue that you are because you were able to break. I saw that Twitter thread. You were able to break down the whole down ballot thing for Brother Man on point, right? So it's obvious that you're getting what you need from the broadcast, whether it's Yvette or Tone. I would argue that it probably would be best that you compartmentalize, that you say, okay, damn, I wish I didn't have to fuck with them like that. But because they're providing me with what I need, that's what I'm going to do. Because I have to do that with
right,
quite a few different people, believe it or not. There's a lot of folk that I listen to. Listen, sister, I watch white supremacists videos and stuff like that. I read their works. I'm actually on their forums, right? They say stuff
right,
and mention things that are completely antithetical to not just my interests, but to everything that I hold sacred, holy, and true, right? But I listen to
mhm,
them to get the information. I don't have to like what they're saying, right? I don't even have to like nothing about the motherfuckers. You feel me? Right? All I have to do is get the data, right?
right,
That's why that whole
exactly,
shot at Tone's personality and this and the third that Tariq dropped or whatever, that's why that was bullshit. Because really, nobody cares. You either think that what Tone is bringing to the table is valuable enough that you're going to overlook any of his flaws, foibles, biases, personality shit. You're going to either ignore all that and just get the data, get the information, or you're not.
right,
And it won't, if you're
right,
not, then it
exactly,
won't matter if he was to all of a sudden take, lessons at the Billy D. Williams School of Debonair, right? It won't matter because you're not there. You see what I'm saying? You're not there to get what you need to get.
right,
You're there worried about something else that you really can't have no control over. You did.
right.
So
But my thing is like not showing patience to people who don't get it. And I think that is why some folks find, especially on Twitter, ADOS a problem.
I couldn't agree more.
Because like this, just
I couldn't agree more.
because someone came for me, and I said, you know what? I could be a real bitch, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to respond to this in a way because when I made the comment to Indie Mama, that's why I was bringing it up.
Mhm.
Somebody came for me, and I said, you know what? I could be mean about this, but I'm going to respond this way. And I ended up saying, I'm concerned about the next conference of people walking away because this happens, just like you said, we all have a different way of intaking information.
Yep.
I'm a hands-on person, but sometimes I can look at something and figure it out for myself. Everybody has a different learning curve. We all learn differently, and we have to learn to be patient with each other in terms of that. You know, like one of the things I said to somebody, how about having handouts? How about having a workshop at the next conference so that, you know, my mom used to be a pollster. She has that experience of somebody who can actually walk people through what are you actually doing in that ballot box?
Yeah.
How you actually go through that process. You can't assume that everybody is on your same political sphere. You know what I'm saying? We're all at different places, and we can't assume that that everyone gets it. And as you can see on Twitter, especially, there's a lot of confusion. It's like people are saying, "I didn't know ATS is political.
They know.
I always thought it was."
They knew.
So
That's a lie. That's a lie. Everybody.
You think they did?
Sister, let me tell you. Everybody in the chat, understand me when I tell you this. Everybody that was all these butthurt people that swore up and down that they didn't know that ADOS was political, they're full of shit. ADOS has been political since the beginning. How in the hell could you have ever heard about ADOS and not know about politics? Not know that we was involved politically?
I don't.
Right?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but like I said, we all process information differently.
Sister, no,
so
that's not even a matter of processing information. That's a matter of just not even like having your damn eyes open. That's like a matter of willfully ignoring like reality that's in front of your face. We've made it clear that what drives our political advocacy is our lineage, but the political advocacy is first and foremost, right? You see what I'm saying? We all knew. Right. And everybody else that claimed they didn't know, sister, is full of shit. But I agree with you 100%, sister, that people, you know what I'm saying, that we do need to be a hell of a lot more understanding. We need to continue education. We can't just say, oh, we got it. Now let's move forward. Nope, because we will go no further than the person.
Exactly.
Than the person.
And it's about all of us. It's just like
it's gonna take all of us, and that's just the way it goes down. But sister, I want to try to grab another call. Yvette's gonna be broadcasting pretty soon. I really appreciate you calling in. Please make sure you do so again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sister. Peace. All right, this should be my last call, fam. Caller from 760, it's your man, Mark Black. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Hey, this is Moni Love.
Moni, sister, how you be?
Oh my God, I was kind of upset about everything that has been going down.
I know you was.
Watching it and experiencing it. I think your analysis of everything has been pretty fair because I've been seeing things that I didn't necessarily agree with in terms of Yvette and tone, but I think their hearts are in the right place.
Most definitely.
So, and I'm not going to be able to agree with everybody on everything 100%. That's not going to happen.
Absolutely. I didn't go in, sister, about the budding elitism that's being shown. Like people who aren't degreed or college graduates can't speak intelligibly about economics or about psychology or whatever the case may be. There are people who have never attended college a day in their life who have studied certain subjects more in depth than somebody who's been to college. And that elitism shit is not going to fly either. What do you think about that, sister?
I agree with you. When I was in the 99-cent store, when you said that, and I'm sorry, I'm on air and I'm a little nervous, but
it's all right, sis. Take your time.
We can't go. We cannot go any further than the rest of us, the collective. I'm not quite sure how you said that, but when you said that, it clicks. And I'm doing work also. Somebody, when they put that up, that we're going to cancel everybody who has FBA in their profile, I was like, what?
I ain't canceled none of them.
Who the fuck are you? Who are you?
Who the fuck are you? You can say it, sister.
I'm out talking to people, and I'm doing work. It's not glamorous. It's not like sexy work. I'm doing one-on-one stuff. I meet people in the supermarket, at the DMV. I'm with my daughter, and I'm embarrassing her talking about 80 West, you know. But for you to cancel me because I felt some kind of way about it, and I kind of got a little freaked out. I changed my profile, and I said, "What the fuck? What am I doing?" Oh, and
Sister,
I changed it back
that broke my
because
heart.
there are things I don't process like everybody else.
Sister, that broke my heart when you did that. Don't ever
I know, and I changed it
bow
back.
down to that.
I went back and I said, "What am I doing, Monica?" No, nobody bullies me, and I went back and I changed it how I had it.
You damn right.
So I'm able to do it how I want to do it.
I'm not canceling. I'm not canceling nobody with FBA nothing. I'm not canceling nobody. See, that cancel bullshit, money, I talked about that in my last broadcast. That's intellectual laziness. This whole cancel culture bullshit where we just cancel everybody that don't fit our echo chamber ain't going to get us nowhere. You see what I'm saying? We have to respect expertise, right? We have to respect what people know, but we also have to give a space for people to express what they know. Simply because somebody don't have a degree, you know what? Just because they're not Dr. Darity, right? I'm a political. I would say I'm an economic nut job. I've read The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. I've read Das Kapital by Karl Marx. I read philosophy. And all of this stuff. Now, this isn't to say that in his area of specialty, he can't speak authoritatively, but that's also not to sit here and say that I can't speak with some degree of capability on the same subject.
Of course.
And people, I've noticed a lot of ADOS people who are getting on this sort of this high horse, like you don't know enough to have this conversation. You ain't intelligent enough. No, see, I can't ride with that because I'm probably one of the smartest high school dropouts you ever want to meet. I'm not going to toot my own horn. That is a matter of fact. I can demonstrate that, right? So
but I have a question. Do you think some of that is like because we're on social media? Okay, we're on Twitter, and I notice Twitter happens fast. It's like rapid fast. And do you think because of trolls, like in a sense, they think, oh, I'm dealing with a troll and I'm going to dismiss the shit because this is not, I see you're putting me through some changes here and you're not being genuine. Do you think it could be some of that?
You know, the thing is I think that we as ADOS need to learn to make the transition between social media and the real world. Twitter is not the real world. We have fun on Twitter.
No, it's
right?
not.
We blast, these politicians and give them all that work, all that smoke on Twitter. But at the end of the day, some of those same politicians that we put on blast, we're going to have to do meetings with. Like I've blasted Representative Bass like nobody's business. But tell me I wasn't proud as hell when ADOS LA had a sit down with her in her office. It was able to be able.
That was a great moment.
You see what I'm saying?
And that other politician out of New Jersey, I saw how that went down. Is it Cook, I think?
Exactly. He got nothing but fire, shade, and smoke. Nice things. But you know what?
Yeah.
When we were able to get in his face, it's a different story, right? So we as ADOS, we started online.
And I'm in a Republican district, and I plan on doing the same thing because it doesn't matter to me if you're a Republican or a Democrat. The needs are still the same.
Sister, I live in an area that's heavily...
It doesn't matter who I'm dealing with.
I live in an area that's heavily Republican, and I plan on actually going and getting involved in the local Republican Party chapter here specifically to talk about why Republicans should support reparations for the American descendants of slavery. Because the fact is that we need to be able to go anywhere fearlessly. We shouldn't have to be sitting here worried about cancel culture and, oh, they're going to hate me. And, I need to block and mute all these people. Look, if you ain't got a thick skin in this political arena, you shouldn't be in it. Like, you talking about canceling people and blocking people and all of that. You really need to ask yourself whether you were built for this.
Jason Jackson, and I'm like, I didn't even say anything. It's okay. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? Another issue, what was that? Oh, the whole Tariq thing, that was very upsetting because I listened to him, and I know he gets into a lot of conflict, and he's already said he's petty. But just to see how it all went down, and then, he said something about Comcast or the Opportunity Zone, and then I was like, don't respond, and Tone responded. I was like,
You know what?
I don't know if it's even
I'm telling you,
necessary
sister,
stuff
we're going to
like
have
that
to
because of
learn.
how he is.
We're going to have to learn that sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, right? You can't keep a fire going if you don't add fuel to it. My whole thing, you know what? See, this is the thing. We have to avoid the trap of echo chambers, right?
Right, and the same thing with the conference, with FBA having the conference. Personally, I kind of was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let them do their thing. You know, that's
I
great
had no
because
problem with the conference.
because boys have conferences. Everybody has conferences and summits. It doesn't matter, you know, to me. The way
I don't get, man,
But
look, they can
I'm
have
kind
5
of unclear
of them.
as to why they were insulted by it, and they said it was a splinter.
But see, now look at what Tone
I was like,
did.
what are you talking about? I didn't quite.
Money. Look at what Tone did though when he did that. He literally gave gave Tariq an entree into this whole jealousy narrative, right? By saying that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The fact is that if we all technically this is just factual. If we all technically, and this is true talk.
And he was inviting Tone to the conference.
Well,
I'm like,
you know what? That's neither here nor there.
I'll do my political spiel and I'm out.
That's neither here nor there, sister.
If that's what it is.
Listen, here's the thing that's the issue, sister. Straight up, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that we all of us, right, have been using FBA and ADOS interchangeably. I'm talking about the rank and file, your average everyday person. We have associated FBA and ADOS together. Tariq was doing it. His people was doing it. We was doing it. Everybody was doing it. You dig? Okay.
Sure.
So with that having been said, the only way that this could have been a competing conference would be if FBA wasn't ADOS. But now if you're saying that FBA isn't ADOS, well, now you got a problem because you got a bunch of FBA people that technically support ADOS, right? They just don't use the hashtag. Now, I did explain, Monty, in my last broadcast, Tone's reasoning behind his adamance in using the hashtag. He sees it as also a way of being able to get us classified judicially as a distinct legal class.
I got it.
I understand.
I got that.
I understand that piece.
Legality.
Right? But sometimes, man, you just got to let people be where they at. And Tone got lost in the sauce. He took a little bit of an ego pop when he said he ain't got no, personality or whatever it was that Tariq said or whatever. Tone could have just simply laughed that off. See, the way I see it, fam, if you're claiming to be a leader, right? Leaders, if you say something about the royal family don't send somebody to your house to chop your head off. Why? Because they're the royal family. They're serene. They're above what the hell you say. You can say whatever the heck you like. Nobody cares, right? So if you really want to claim the mantle of leadership, right, then sometimes you got to let shit just roll off you like water off of a duck's back. Not everybody going to be pleased with the king or queen or whatever, but people going, you know what I'm saying? People going to be what they are.
And I just want to finish out with everything. I know they're the close. With that said, I do operate under an ADOS framework. I love politics, and to me, I see where we haven't had a black political group that's out there fighting for us. I mean, not in my lifetime. So I see the progress other communities are making because they're out there fighting and they're pushing the judicial system and they're pushing the legislature. I see that, and I'm not stupid, and I see the value in it, and I see the value in ADOS, and so I completely support that. I love politics. I love Black politics. I love our community, but I also see as a social worker, I see where we're drowning, and so to me that ADOS framework, it works. It that's what I'm rolling with, And I support FBA too with what they do in terms of financial empowerment. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know what? I'm going to continue
Okay.
to give love to my FBA brothers and sisters. And if they give me shade, I'm going to give them shade because I ain't rolling over for nobody. But that being said, it is what it is. Sister, I'm going to take this one last call because this has probably been somebody who's been waiting. I love you, sis. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you all.
All right, now this is going to be the last call. So caller from 615 is your man, Mark Black. What's your name? Oh, shit. Hold up a second. Caller from 615, go ahead and call back in. I'll take your call. But yeah, fam, this is, look, Twitter ain't the real world. Social media is not the real world. The real world is the real world. You feel me? And we have to move out here in this space amongst other ADOS and FBA or whatever acronym they call themselves. We have to move out here with grace, family. If there's nothing else that you take away from this broadcast, right? Move with grace. People gonna say what the fuck they want to say. They gonna call us MAGA. They gonna call us worse before it's all said and done. Caller from 346 is your man Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Hey, this is Antoine. I'm calling from Texas.
Antoine, brother, good to have you on the broadcast. Happy Hump Day to you, fam. The floor is yours.
Hey, yeah. I wanted to talk about it because, like, all right, the whole group thing did kind of throw me off because I thought it was a lineage. Like, I knew we was doing politics, but when you made it a group, it started throwing me off, and it kind of, like, took me back to, like, the conference. Like, I never said anything was wrong with it, but a problem I did have with the conference is that, like, they only had, like, 3 ADOS speakers, and then the rest of them was like allies. So then when you say it's an organization, that's like you got these allies, and that make it seem like it is kind of looking like so if it's an organization, anybody can be in an organization. It's not lineage based. So now it just looks like it started to look a little janky to me, especially with the Democrats. Like, now, I still support ADOS. I like the framework they're doing, and I want to keep pushing for reparations. But just the whole thing just was, and then the way they saying they want to force us to go down ballot.
I'm gonna tell you, fam. I'm gonna tell you. First of all, as your brother and one who loves you, everybody should be accountable, right? In other words, fam, if you called me, right, and you said, Mark Black, love your show, man, because I hated being called a show. It's a broadcast. But I love your show. But you said some shit that was off-brand, fam. I got 2 options on how I want to deal with that. One, I can dismiss your concerns. I could be like, fam, what is you talking about? Like, this is me. This is how I do, blah, 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 blah. Or I can engage you, find out whether or not your concerns are actually valid concerns, because if they are, I need to address them. Or if they're not, I can help you to see that they're not. You see what I'm saying? And we can have a meeting of the minds, right? I think that if you have concerns about the way that maybe Antonio and Yvette approach things, they both have opportunities where you can call in, right? And if they don't address your concerns, right, hold them to account. They're not above reproach, right? I love Yvette. I've called into her show and spoke with her multiple times. But if I had a concern and I felt like she was slopping me off, I would tell her right then and there, no, Sister Yvette, you don't get to slop me off. You need to address this, not because I'm asking to cause conflict or bullshit or anything like that, but because this is a concern of mine. And as your tribesman, I would like for you to address this, right? There's nothing wrong with asking that, right? See, this is the thing. We have to understand, fam, that we got to stop being allergic to words like organization, group. If we're going to accomplish anything en masse, we're going to need some, organization, some group. We can argue all day about the structure of it, who's bossing it, who's not bossing it. We can have debates ad nauseum about all that shit, right? But make no mistake about it, all of the moves that we need to make collectively is going to need us to operate collectively. And there are going to have to be structures and shit like that in play for that to happen. But with that said, you, as my tribesman, as my brother, have much more of an opportunity to have a say in how that stuff plays out. So rather than just canceling and saying, oh, fuck that, I ain't with no group shit. Well, if you don't think it should be structured like that, fam, get in and help us to structure it in a way that makes sense to you. Maybe it might make sense to a whole bunch of other people, but I can tell you what won't make sense if you just say, I'm allergic to organization, group, anything like that, and sign up for that and just dip out. Well, how does that, okay, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not accusing you of that, fam, but do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
so
and
get in, you know what I'm saying? If it's not to your liking, right? If it's not to where you think it's going to be effective, you have a hell of a ton more say with your tribes people than you doing just some random ass grouping. You feel me?
Yeah. And I'm not talking about like canceling ADOS. Like I've been riding for ADOS for too long, so it's like, but my thing is, like, they're not answering the questions. Like, when we ask, are you Democrat, they just start doing all this, like, oh, now they thought we was MAGA. Oh, now they think we Democrat. That's not actually answering the question.
I hear you.
Are you aligned with the Democrats? Can you answer that? Can you deny? Because you're telling us not to speak with the Republicans. And if we're serious about this reparations thing, I don't understand why we can't go speak with the sitting president right now.
I'm with you on that one. I'm absolutely with you on that one.
We're wasting all this time with Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Andrew. None of these people have any chance. Barry and Wilson, they don't have a chance of winning.
Let me tell you something, fam. Let me tell you something that's gonna give you some heart, right? That's gonna hearten you. These local chapters of ADOS is where it's at. And I'm gonna tell you why it's where it's at. Because the local chapters are the boots on the ground. See, one of the things that every leader that we've had has failed to understand is that you can only give birth to this thing. Once it's alive, and it is going to evolve, change, grow, and do things you never expected. I can tell you for a certainty. I don't even have to know Yvette and Tone like that to tell you for a certainty that they never expected ADOS to become what it's become. And trust me, what it is now and what it will be 5 years from now, we won't even recognize it 5 years from now. It'll be completely different in so many ways. And if we don't develop a culture of mental flexibility and a willingness to cleave to our lineage and work together to resolve whatever our issues are as far as political affiliation, voting strategies and tactics, engagement with politicians, if we don't put in the work now, I can guarantee you we won't have the opportunity to put in the work later. You see what I'm saying? Like, Reggie, I know you, fam. Brother Reggie Trimble, right? And Reggie's like, we don't engage the Republicans because that's not where the leverage is. Now, I don't have to agree with Reggie on that to support his use of that particular strat. Right? He's saying that I don't feel we have leverage with the Republicans, and thus I'm not going to engage with the Republicans. But what Reggie isn't telling you is to not engage with the Republicans. He can't do that, right? He's still your brother.
Yeah.
He's still politically active in this thing. We're all shooting for the same goal, right? But if Reggie doesn't feel like we have the leverage, then he's not going to engage in that strat. And guess what? I would rather he not do it because he's not going to give it the energy that somebody who feels that we might be able to advocate with the Republicans can. So if you feel like that we should be talking to the sitting president, if you feel like we should be talking to Republicans and other interested parties as far as this justice claim, go right ahead. Just like Reggie can feel free to say, nope, I don't think that that's where the best of my efforts go, right? He's not gonna put that energy into that. And I respect that because I'm his brother. We both aiming for the same damn thing, right? So he's gonna work on it from a different angle. The best part about this battle is the battlefront is so broad that we can attack this whole thing from a different angle. Reggie can say, I'm hitting them from the local tip, on the Democratic tip. And you, my brother, can say, all right, or I live in a primarily Republican area, so I'm about to get in with these Republicans, and I'm going to have a sit down and show them some slides and some information on our history and see if I can get some local comments from them, and so on and so forth, right? we can attack this thing from multiple angles and be even more effective. You feel me? So it's all right, fam. If Reggie says, hey, that's not for me, or if Yvette and them say that we're going to try this down ballot strategy, because they did say that it was their opinion. Right now, I would argue that because they kind of held themselves out in the position of leadership, that it's not quite the case, but they did say that, right? So what I would suggest to you, go ahead, fam.
I would like to challenge that ideology that that the Republicans don't have anything for us.
Don't challenge it. Show us. That's my whole point. You don't have to tell us, fam. If you think that taking that strat of engaging with the Republicans is going to be effective, you don't have to tell us. You can show us. You can go out there and put boots to ground. You can put boot to neck if you have to, and show us how effective a strat it is, right? The best part about all of this politically is that everybody gets a chance to put in. If you have a strat that you think is going to work, put in the work. Try to see if you can convince some other folk who are ADOS to come and put in the work with you, right? Not everybody's going to ride. Cool, but that's all right. You don't need everybody for your particular strat. You just need enough, right?
No, yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So you don't have to give nobody no big long drawn out spiel or no shade and smoke because they don't see it the way you see. Not to say that you would, right? Show us.
No, but I just want to explain that, like, when Donald Trump, when he gave his speech with that Blacks for Trump thing, I don't know if anybody watched the whole hour of it, but at the beginning of it, he said his mission in this political race is to go city to city and get every African American vote. So that shows somebody who's acknowledging African Americans, who's willing to talk to African Americans, but we're not willing to talk to him about.
Oh, but guess what though? When Trump shows up talking about he wants our vote, it is our job as ADOS to be right there and say, Mr. President, if you want our vote, you only have one question to answer. Do you support the remediation, the restoration, and the repair of the American descendants of slavery, including but not limited to cash payments?
Yeah, but
he gets the same shit that we give to the Democrats. It ain't no difference.
No, the difference is the leaders of ADOS is saying Trump ain't it. Don't even engage with Trump.
Fam, that's them. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. One of the coolest things I learned as a kid was that mama ain't 100% all the time. I remember I'm going to end it on this story, right? Because Yvette's going to be broadcasting soon, and I know everybody's going to want to watch it, right? But check this out. There was this little girl who was watching her mother cook a ham, right? And her mother took the ham out the package, and she cut the end off the ham, okay? And she put it in the pan. And the little girl said, Mama, why'd you cut the end off the ham? She's like, well, my mama cut the end off the ham, and that's the way I've always done it, right? So she said, why don't we go and ask, right? So they go over to Grandma's house. Grandma sitting there, and she said, what's up, baby? She says, Grandma, Mama cuts the end off the ham before she puts it in the pan and puts it in the oven. Why do you cut the end off the ham? She said you taught her, right? Grandma said, well, shit, my mother taught me. You know, great-grandma taught me, right? So they went and they asked great-grandma, Mama cuts the end off the ham. Grandma cuts the end off the ham. Why did you teach them to cut the end off the ham? And you know what Grandma said? It's because my pan was too small. You dig? 3 generations of people cutting the end off the ham when it was because the first generation, the pan was too small. Reggie, if you want, hit me up via email. We'll set up a time to chop on Discord, okay? Because the Discord is still active, right? There's a link to my Discord there in the description field of the video. But fam, do you feel me? If Yvette and Tone describe a strategy or a tactic that you don't necessarily understand or you don't necessarily agree with or whatever the case may be, fam, it's all right not to cut the end off the ham. Okay? They're going to say it and teach it the way they understand it and teach it. And also accounting for their blind spots, their biases, and so on and so forth. You feel me? Right? So understand that. Take what you can, the meat off the bone, and leave the bone. right? There are some things that they're going to say that we just be like, okay, what else? You feel me? But we have to also use our own discernment, our own experience, our own local situations, our own state and regional situations too. And Yvette has said that. You feel me? So I appreciate your call, fam. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man, so we can go and listen to the sister speak tonight.
All right, appreciate it, Mark.
Of course, brother. Don't be a stranger.
All right.
Fam, I want to thank everybody. I got a new subscriber, Chief X. Welcome to the Angry Black Sheep. We are glad to have you. I want to shout out Thomas B. Looky here, Sister Toolbox, Brother Abdul Shabazz, Brother Michael. Man, thank you so much. Actually, shout out to Brother Thomas twice. Cool Unc, I appreciate you, fam. Our Jizzle for the super chat. Fam, eat the meat. Leave the bones, right? This conversation is not over, fam. I'll be broadcasting again this Saturday for Sucker Free Saturday, 4:30 p. Pacific Standard Time, because I'm on the west side, right? Please join me. Engage with us. Let us continue to have these discussions, fam. It's all right for us to be able to ask tough questions. It's okay for us to hold people who are wanting to claim the mantle of leader accountable. It's all right to demand that our understanding of things be acknowledged, right? For them to answer questions of things that might make us uncomfortable. You have that right. There is nobody here who's above reproach. Right? Sister Alma said, go vegan, then you don't have to worry about the bones. I feel you. I'm not giving up steak, though. I'm sorry. Fam, I love you. Thank you so much. By the way, just a side note, this broadcast is the broadcast where I've had the most viewers ever. I broke over the 100 mark a long time ago. Words fail me. I hope that I have been worthy of your time, your energy, your hearts and minds for the time that I've had it. I hope to continue to remain worthy. It is my honor, my sacred duty, my pleasure to be of service to you. And I don't think y'all hear that enough. I am not the influencer. You are. No YouTuber will tell you that. They'll sit here and hold themselves up as thought leaders, influencers, so on and so forth. Bullshit. You are the influencer. Because if you're not the influencer, then we're not doing this thing right. So fam, enjoy Sister Yvette's broadcast tonight. I know I will. Be here for Sucker Free Saturday, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time in the afternoon, right? So that's 5:30 Mountain, 6:30 Central, and 7:30 Eastern. And as always, fam, I'm going to leave you with the best wishes of love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.